Today is the first day back from winter break. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today is the first day back from winter break, so I will be taking you along with me today and showing you the different things that I am doing to kind of get back into the routine for myself and to help my students get back in routine as well. So let's see how the day progresses. Right now it's about 7:33, so my morning is going to begin with going to my Weight Watchers meeting, which I don't know how that's going to be because between getting sick the first week of winter break and being on winter break, I kind of stopped tracking my food on my Weight Watchers app. I didn't eat too terribly, but I know that I could have done a lot better with my eating. So let's see what the damage is when I go to this meeting. The other thing is my mood is kind of down just this weekend. I don't know, different things kind of like put me in a downswing, so I'm kind of feeling kind of blue. So let's see how the day goes today, but I will be sharing with you some of the things that I do to help me when my mood is down. And no, I am not depressed because I'm back in school. Actually, I'm looking forward to seeing my students and getting back into the regular school routine. So I'll catch up with you sometime, probably during my break or my lunchtime. See you soon. So right now is my lunch break, and I'm so happy because it's pretty much almost like my only break today. I did have Spanish this morning, but I usually stay in the classroom, and I was working on some other things, and the students are in the classroom, so I don't get to sit down and think about how my morning has gone. But right now, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. I was just walking really fast back into the classroom, and I'm a little bit out of shape from not working out during winter break. But anyway, we did a lot of different things this morning that I'll share with you after school, because right now I'm getting ready to eat my lunch. And my mood is a little better, and I guess being with the kids kind of distracts me, but I'll be sure to share with you later what are some of the things that I'm trying to do in order to help me, you know, when I am in a little bit of a down mood. So let me show you really quickly what I'm eating today for lunch. So today I have some ground turkey breasts that I am putting together in these soft tortilla shells. These are just whole wheat flour tortillas, and these are 4 points on Weight Watchers, and 2 of them are 7 points, and then of course the ground turkey breast is 0 points. So I'll be making kind of like tacos or burritos to eat with that, and that is basically my lunch for today.
In the U.S. before the Civil Rights Movement. But in South Africa, the discrimination went a lot further. No, conditions were not separate but equal. Only whites were allowed a good education and the right to work in skilled jobs. Areas where black people lived often lacked electricity and even plumbing. Well, yeah, people were trying to fight it. The United Nations officially condemned apartheid in 1962. Well, hang on. A lot of South African whites knew apartheid was unfair. Then, in 1990, the government ended its censorship of the media, then freed its political prisoners. One of those freed was Nelson Mandela, an anti-apartheid freedom fighter who had been arrested in 1962. This led to a new constitution that gave the right to vote to everyone. The newly free South Africans elected Nelson Mandela president on April 27, 1994. Every April 27th is celebrated as Freedom Day. Yeah, it's important to remember that discrimination and racism aren't just things of the past.
In South Africa, in a remote town, far from the cities you know well. Born in poverty, Mandela was poor. No meat and sweets that they couldn't afford. Resources were meager, they didn't have many, but had a lot of love in the big family. The story goes in order, it's chronological. The first to go to school, that's hard to do. He was a hard-working student, diligent with the books. Some white people on the street giving them looks. Here's the context, see the background now. Colonial Dutch rule South Africa. The whole country at this time time was divided along race lines. Apartheid, so blacks were the majority, more than half, but couldn't vote. Now that's some bad math. So Mandela was treated with prejudice. People didn't like him even before they met him. His loyalty, allegiance was to freedom, but his college kicked him out like we don't need him. This causing generated a feeling in his soul. When the dream is held back, it just might grow. The hatred was just an obstacle, something in his way, but it's not impossible. Yes, Mandela is free, but what about my people? My people. Yes, Mandela is free, but what about my people? My people. Yes, Mandela is free, but what about my people? My people. Yes, Mandela is free, but what about my people? My people.
It is now the end of the day, and I have to admit, I am really exhausted. I am tired, and like I mentioned, I only have 1 hour break on Mondays, and I don't even think about it as an hour because Spanish is not technically planning, and I stay in the classroom while the teacher is here with the students. So I don't consider that a break because I was actually working through it, and my only break today was during lunchtime. So I really pretty much worked the whole entire day up until now when the students were dismissed. It's actually like around 3:28 now, contract hours, and at 3:25. And I'm making it a point this time around to not stay too late at school and pretty much leave on time so I can spend time with my son and also do some other things that I am planning to do, including working on my dissertation. We did start a new unit today. We are on track as far as the pacing guide goes. And I know that before break came, I mentioned that I was feeling overwhelmed because I was behind in the pacing guide. So I kind of came up with an idea on how to address that. So I'll be sharing with you what I'm going to do in order to address those skills that need to be taught for those units that I haven't gone over and how I'm going to assess them. But right now, as of now, we are on track. We are where we should be. So I will be sharing with you what the students did today and catching up with you once I do that. So I created a new foldable for Unit 3, Week 3, which is the one that we are working on starting today. This is a 2-week unit that we are focusing on. And the essential question is, how can one person make a difference? I kind of made a mistake there. But basically, the students watched a short video that introduced the essential question. Plus, it talked about 4 different examples of people that made a difference. And then they had the task of paraphrasing the information heard in the video clip. Now, in order to help them do that, I did show them a video from BrainPop on paraphrasing that goes over what paraphrasing is. And I did write down some of the steps that the video mentions. So I kept it on the board so the students could follow along and make sure that they do that. Now, this is in relation to books. So I did modify this as the students were doing it in relation to listening, and the video does also go over how you can paraphrase from something that you listen. After we went over the paraphrasing video on BrainPop and the students paraphrased the information in the multimedia video, then they listened to a listening comprehension on Nelson Mandela Working for Freedom. They took notes on Nelson Mandela in order to answer the Part A and Part B questions. So how does the speaker describe Nelson Mandela? Because we're working with author's point of view. And what did the author say to support your response to Part A? And you saw in the clip before this that the students were looking at videos from Vocabulary and from BrainPop on Nelson Mandela. And the BrainPop one went over apartheid, and the one from Vocabulary went over Nelson Mandela. Now, I was able to go over the shared read with my morning group. And we did the survey the text and the predict. Actually, they didn't do the prediction. We kind of skipped over that, and I just realized that. Well, it's okay. We can do it tomorrow. So we went over survey the text, and we looked at the text features, and we did the first reading with the first group. The second group will do it tomorrow. So this is Judy's Appalachia, which is our close read. We do read this twice, and then they have some questions to answer related to that passage. And we're working on biographies this week, so that is what we did for reading. And I did write it here on our agenda. And what I also did for the students is so that they knew how to write the names of the people that were mentioned in the multimedia video. So they talked about George Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, Sojourner Truth, and Wilma Mankiller, who was the first female Cherokee chief. And so we did pretty much most of this with my morning group. We did part of this also with the morning group and with the afternoon group. And we're going to get to this with my morning group, which is my homeroom group, tomorrow. Let me talk to you a little bit about what I'm planning for this Native Americans Social Studies unit. So basically, there are 5 Florida Native American groups that the students are going to be studying about. They're going to learn about the Tinicua, the Tequesta of Biscayne Bay, the Calusa, which are the Shell Indians, the Tocobaga Indians of Tampa Bay, and finally, and I did this one like this because it was 3 sheets, so it's only 1 sheet, the Appalachia of Northwest Florida. Because I have 5 teams, each team will be assigned one of these Native American groups, and these are passages that I actually got online, and I'll link them in the description box below. These are free, and each team will get one of these Native Americans, and they're going to use that in order to research and learn about each Native American group and create a poster. And I'm going to show you what that poster looks like. Just 1 second. So my students will be creating a poster similar to this. This is the posters that my other co-teacher that teaches math and science, but she teaches the social studies to her homeroom. This is what her homeroom already did. And this is, again, an idea that I came up with a few years ago. Basically, they're going to write information about their Indians, some interesting facts, where they're located in Florida, and we do provide them with this Florida map that they can just glue, and they can color where the Native Americans were located. They're gonna also talk about what kind of foods they ate, what type of shelter they used, and a little bit about their culture. So that is the Calusa. This is the team that did the Tequesta from her class. These are the Appalachee, followed by the Tocobaga Indians and the Tinicua. So my class is also going to do something similar to that this week, and that will be for social studies. So that's basically what my students worked on today, and we're going to continue working on the stories for this week, which are heavily focused on the civil rights movement and segregation and prejudice and protest and boycotting, which is also indicative of this time of year where we're gearing towards Black History Month, as well as going over the Native American project so that the students can finish that, do a little bit of research about each of those Florida Native Americans, and teach the class about the Native American group that they had. So it will also be a jigsaw activity where they are learning and becoming the experts on that Florida Native American, and then they're teaching the rest of the class about their group that they were doing the research on. So a little bit about what I'm going to do as far as trying to catch up. And I wasn't able to do it today because of time. I forgot how long it takes for us to start a new unit, because I do give them the time to not only watch the video, they watch it a couple times. The video is only 56 seconds. The video introduces the unit with the essential question. And again, this one talked about George Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, Sojourner Truth, and Wilma Mankiller. They watch that video about 4 or 5 times so that they can write their notes. And when they do take their Florida Standards Assessment on the computer, they are able to play the video that they watch or the audio comprehension that they're listening to. They're able to pause it and play it multiple times within the time that they have to take the test. So I do encourage them to do that, and I do have them do that in the classroom as well. So I give them time to listen to it multiple times so they can take their notes and then use the notes to answer the questions. And I do have them work with their teams as far as the notes go, so that if someone heard something that they didn't include in their notes, they can go ahead and add it and fill in those gaps. We also give them time to write down their answers before we open the floor for people to share their answers, and we just have a little discussion. We do the same thing with the listening comprehension. Today they listen to the listening comprehension 4 different times, because sometimes the information is too fast and they need time to write. So I do have them listen to it over and over so that they can write their notes and be able to answer those comprehension questions. And we do discuss that. And then, of course, we also introduce the vocabulary and we go over that. And this week we're going over synonyms and antonyms. So we're going over that along with the comprehension skill of reread. So we're doing a couple of different things. And as far as trying to get back on track, so this is my plan. So what I did when planning for this week, which I'll show you my lesson plans in a moment, is I decided I'm going to stay on track with what the pacing guide wants me to do. So if the pacing guide wants me to start today on Unit 3, Week 3, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And then during my small group time for 30 minutes, I'm going to have 3 different centers. And in those 3 different centers, we're going to have the students practice and review the different reading skills that were part of the units that I haven't gotten to or that I'm trying to finish. So for example, I'm trying to finish cause and effect. So I already created 3 different centers where the students are going to practice a skill of cause and effect. So one of those centers is going to be me. I'm going to be the small group center. And another center is going to be the technology center. And in that center, what I planned is the quizzes. I planned actually 2 different quizzes so that the students must complete one. And if they still have time, they can complete the second one. And then the third group, I'm going to actually have them work on an interactive game using colored Jenga blocks, which I will probably show you tomorrow when the students are working on that, or I'll show you after or before the students work on that. And I created a resource that goes along with those colored Jenga blocks. And the colored Jenga blocks that I bought also have a die that they can throw, and according to the color on the die, that's the colored Jenga block that they have to pull. And according to the colored Jenga block that they pull, they have to answer the question that corresponds to that color. In my case, it's not necessarily a question because they are reviewing cause and effect. So whatever the color is, it's either going to have a cause or it's going to have an effect, and their job is to find the related cause or effect. So if they pull, like, let's say a pink one, and the pink one is an effect, they have to go ahead and find a cause for that effect. And I kind of made it open-ended. And the way that I learned to do this from Hope King, she says no turns, no outs. That means that if one person goes, everybody has to answer whatever that person has to answer. So if it's my turn and I pull that pink block and I place it on top and I take the card that's pink that goes along with that and I see an effect, I'm going to come up with a cause. I'm going to write it on my recording sheet. And then I'm going to share what I wrote, and then everybody else has to share what they wrote. So everybody has to pretty much answer. So all the kids are always engaged, and you are not out. So if I'm pulling a block and I put it on top and it's been a couple of turns and the tower falls, that doesn't mean I'm out. That doesn't mean everybody is out. We just build a tower again and we start over and we continue from there. So I kind of put that together, and I'm thinking of putting it on Teachers Pay Teachers as well. So if I do, I will probably put a post about it in my Instagram later on this week. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I suggest you follow me at Pencils and Magic Wands so that you know when I post that resource up in my store. So that's pretty much what I'm planning to do from now until I get caught up. I'm just going to use my small group time as a time to kind of go over those skills that were part of those units that I was behind in. And as far as the rotations go, so there's 3 different centers, but there's only going to be 2 rotations. So it's going to be 2 rotations, 15 minutes each, and everyone will go to 2 groups. And because I only have 18 students, that means I only have 6 students per group, so that works out fine. So the 6 students that I see in the first rotation are one of my groups that needs additional help, and then the second group that I'm going to see is my other group that needs additional help. They're going to rotate 2 times within that 30-minute period, and that way hopefully we allow the students time to practice those skills and be ready to then take the test, which a lot of them didn't finish the test before break. So I'm just going to give it to them in paper form to see if that will be a better way for them to finish it, because we're kind of on a time crunch. I really need them to be done with that test so that we can move on to the other unit that we were behind in. And I'm going to do the same process of creating the different rotations and putting the skill that we are focusing on in those different centers. So we have a hands-on center, we have a technology center, and we have the teacher-led center. So that's basically what I'm planning to do, and hopefully it works. I will be reflecting on that as I implement it in the next week or so and see if I need to make any tweaks or changes to it. I will let you know. But that's basically all that I have done for today. And like I said, I'm really tired. And I'm getting ready to go home so I can rest. Let me quickly show you my lesson plan template for this week, and then I will sign off on the vlog. So these are my lesson plan templates for this week. As you can see, these are our focus text, Judy's Appalachia, Delivering Justice, and Keeping Freedom in the Family, and the skills that we're going over, along with our opening do now activities, the reading, what we're going to do, our language arts, which we're focusing on opinion essays, and our social studies, along with the homework listed here. So that's pretty much what my plans look like for this week. Oh, and one more thing that I forgot to mention. So after my meeting this morning, I got some really great news. Now, I did not lose the amount of weight that I was kind of making a goal for myself to lose during winter break. But hey, I did not gain any weight. So that is a big plus. I actually ended up losing 2.8 pounds since before going on break. So that is amazing. I feel great. I am so proud of myself. So now this just pushes me to just keep going and keep doing great decisions. I know that I didn't do a lot of tracking of my food during winter break, but I started tracking back again today, and I'm going to make sure that I'm faithful and loyal to my tracking so that I know what it is that I am eating that is good for me, and make sure that I keep up with my portion control. Another thing that I wanted to make sure that I do this week, not today, because today I'm just going to kind of rest it out because I am exhausted. But one of the things that I'm planning to do this week is to add a little bit more of exercise into my routine and put some workouts in for the day, even if it's just a few minutes after school. So I'll let you know how that goes. So that's wonderful news, and I'm so excited. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. I will keep you informed on how the rest of the week goes. I do have a workshop on Friday, so I do have to prepare for a sub for Friday. And I did have the plans in my lesson plans template, but I actually have to make separate sub plans for that so that they're more detailed and the sub is able to follow them. And I'll also let you know how the rest of the week goes. Today the student behavior wasn't so bad as far as the kids go. They were a little bit chatty, but what helped me the most today, so I started passing out my stop and go signs to kind of just get the kids on task. I try to pass out a lot of these so the students around that didn't get one of these started to think, hey, I need to make sure I'm following the rules so that I get a green sign. And of course, the students that were not following the rules and needed to kind of have a reminder on how they should behave, they were getting these, and they need to keep these on their desk. And at the end of the class, like I said, they come and bring me their red signs, and if they have their go sign all the way to the end of the class, they get 5 dojo points for that day. So that was pretty easy to do. It really helped me as far as behavior goes. And overall, it wasn't such a bad day. I mean, I was able to kind of get into the groove of the routines and get back into it, and it was pretty good with adding the technology aspects with the videos from Vocabulary and Brain Pop. And I even took them to the history.com website so we can learn a little bit more about Nelson Mandela and the apartheid and how it affected South Africans. So it was a really good day. Oh, addressing the fact that I wasn't feeling really good this morning. My mood was kind of low. My mood is still kind of low. It's not as low as it was this morning per se. It really helped getting back to school and being kind of distracted with the kids. But what my plans are is a lot of self-care today. So definitely do some things for me. I'm actually going to spend some time with my son and maybe listen to some music and watch some uplifting, inspirational videos, probably on YouTube, just to kind of like get my mind off of it. Another time I will go to the beach, not today because it looks pretty cloudy, so I got to check the weather forecast. I don't go in the water, I just literally sit there on the sand and watch the waves crash onto the shore. And that's very relaxing. Plus, smelling the salty air is relaxing as well. So that's one of the things that I like to do to kind of like do some self-care and take care of myself. So I gotta be gentle. I just gotta like refocus. I gotta remember who I am, my mantra bands, and just take it one day at a time. So if you are a teacher like me and sometimes you go kind of low mood where you're not feeling so great, just remember, you got to take care of yourself. You got to practice some self-care. And if you do, and you have some great tips, leave them in the comments down below. I also have some great new books that I need to sit down and read. So that's basically all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And I'll see you later on this week. Have a beautiful, magical day, and don't forget to smile.